What would you do if you had to decide the fate of your nation? Betrayal, submission, or forging a new path? The answer lies in Japan, 1,400 years ago. Hello? I'm Dr. Tokimeki from the Tokimeki channel. Today, we'll time travel to Japan's Asuka period. The Asuka period was a turning point when Japan began to shape its identity as a nation. Welcome to the Asuka region, 1,400 years ago.
It's rare to meet a visitor from the future. Welcome.
You're Prince Shotoku. I've heard you're one of the greatest leaders of your era.
I'm honored to hear that. But my era was a turbulent time where betrayal and hope intersected.
I see. But why is the Asuka period called the beginning of Japan as a nation?
In this era, Buddhism was introduced from beach, bringing new values to Japan. But it also caused major conflicts.
Conflicts? What do you mean?
There was a clash between the Soga clan and the Mononobe clan over whether to accept Buddhism. I took on the role of uniting the nation amid this turmoil.
That's incredible. So, how did you specifically unite the country?
I laid the foundation for embracing Buddhism and introduced the 17-article constitution as a guiding ideal. But it wasn't easy.
Tell me more about the new values Buddhism brought and how it sparked conflicts in the next chapter.
Of course. These conflicts were the first steps in shaping Japan's future.
Prince Shotoku, how did Buddhism come to Japan?
In the mid-6th century, beach on the Korean peninsula sent Buddha statues and scriptures to Japan. That was the beginning of Buddhism here.
So, Buddha statues and scriptures arrived as gifts. But why did that lead to conflict?
Because this new set of values challenged the ancient traditions of Japan.
A new set of values? For example?
Buddhism teaches salvation for individuals and equality. But it clashed with the belief in ancient gods and the tribal values of our society.
I see. So, what kind of conflicts did it cause?
The Soga clan advocated for accepting Buddhism, while the Mononobe clan opposed it. They clashed fiercely.
What events occurred as the conflict intensified?
One day, a plague struck Japan. The Mononobe clan claimed that Buddhism was bringing calamities.
What? They blamed Buddhism?
Yes. Meanwhile, the Soga clan argued that accepting Buddhism would bring an end to the calamities.
How was this conflict resolved?
Finally, a battle broke out between the Soga and Mononobe clans. It's known as the Buddhist War.
A war? Who won in the end?
The Soga clan emerged victorious. Buddhism was established at the heart of Japan.
I see. But that didn't solve everything, did it?
Exactly. Accepting Buddhism was just the beginning.
In the next chapter, tell me about the ideals you set forth to unify the nation, that 17-article constitution.
Of course. It reflects my vision and ideals for the future.
Prince Shotoku, what exactly was in the 17-article constitution?
The 17-article constitution was established as a guide to unify the nation. At the time, Japan was plagued by constant clan conflicts, and the country was fragmented.
The famous phrase, "harmony is to be valued," stands out. What does it mean?
Article 1, harmony is to be valued, means that people should cooperate rather than fight. This became the fundamental principle for governing the nation.
Can you share other specific articles?
For example, Article 10 states, diligently fulfill your duties without idleness, urging everyone to contribute to the nation by performing their roles.
That's a value that resonates even today.
And Article 15 emphasizes avoid unfair judgments, highlighting the importance of legal fairness. At that time, it was common for clans to manipulate judgments through their power.
The 17-article constitution must have required concrete systems to be implemented, right?
One such system was the 12-level cap and rank system, which awarded positions based on ability and achievements rather than lineage. This was necessary to curb the power of the clans.
What was the specific structure of the system?
The ranks were divided into 12 levels, each with a name and color. the highest rank, Daidoku, was given to those of great virtue. This system was designed to promote the new value of meritocracy.
That's a revolutionary concept for the time. I've heard Ono no Imoko is a success story of this system.
Exactly. Ono no Imoko came from a modest background but demonstrated talent and effort, earning his position as an envoy to the Sui dynasty.
Why was it necessary to go to the Sui dynasty?
At the time, the Sui dynasty was the most advanced civilization in East Asia. The purpose was to learn their technology and culture to advance Japan. Diplomatically, it was also a way to assert Japan as an independent nation.
What achievements did Ono no Imoko accomplish in the Sui dynasty?
He brought a national letter and succeeded in having the Sui emperor recognize Japan's existence. This marked the start of equal diplomatic relations between Japan and the Sui dynasty.
Even with such systems in place, problems still remained, didn't they?
Unfortunately, clans like the Soga exploited the system to protect their power, which eventually led to a tragedy.
What kind of tragedy was it?
That is a story for the next chapter.
Prince Shotoku, you mentioned the Soga clan's influence earlier. Just how powerful were they?
Soga no Imoko gained an edge over other clans by supporting Buddhism. Together with me, he helped build new systems.
I see. But later, the Soga clan's power spiraled out of control, didn't it?
Yes. After Imako's death, his successor, Soga no Asuka, prioritized his own interests and began eliminating other clans.
What methods did he use?
Asuka suppressed opposing forces and ruthlessly removed anyone who defied him. Eventually, he even disregarded the emperor's authority.
In such a situation, who stood up against him?
Prince Naka no Oi and Nakatomi no Kamatari. They risked their lives to stop Asuka's tyranny.
That must have been a difficult decision.
Indeed. To uphold the ideal of harmony I advocated and to secure the nation's future, they resorted to assassination as a last resort.
How was the assassination carried out?
They decided to strike during a gathering of many courtiers. The tension was at its peak.
For the future of this nation, it ends here.
Their actions must have been incredibly risky. But what changed as a result?
The Soga clan's dictatorship came to an end. But their sacrifice wasn't just revenge, it was the beginning of unifying the nation.
Did Japan begin moving toward peace after this?
Peace doesn't come overnight. The reforms led by Prince Naka no Oi will be the key moving forward.
In the next chapter, tell me about those reforms.
Of course. That marks the beginning of a new era called the Taika Reform.
Prince Shotoku, what happened to Japan after the Taika coup?
The Soga clan's dictatorship ended, and the nation began moving toward a new future. But the path was far from smooth.
I see. And the reforms known as the Taika Reform shaped the future of Japan, right?
Exactly. Prince Naka no Oi made significant changes to the land and administrative systems to build a new national structure.
What specific reforms were implemented?
For example, the Handenshuchu law was introduced, placing land and people under the emperor's control, thereby weakening the power of the clans.
I see. That sounds like a revolutionary system for farmers as well.
Exactly. A new administrative division called Ko was also established to streamline local governance, laying the foundation for a centralized system.
But implementing such major reforms must not have been easy.
Exactly. There was resistance from clans and increased burdens on farmers, among other challenges. Yet, Prince Naka no Oi pressed on without compromise.
That's incredible determination. By the way, how did you personally view these reforms?
I had already stepped back and observed from a distance. However, I saw these reforms as an essential first step toward realizing the harmony I envisioned.
Prince Shotoku, one final question. What impact do you think these reforms had on Japan's future?
I believe these reforms laid the foundation for Japan to unite as a nation and build peace. My role is done, but I hope those living in the future can learn something from this history.
Thank you, Prince Shotoku. I've learned so much about how your words and actions shaped this era. In the next episode of Tokyo Tokimeki Channel, we'll move from the Asuka period to the Nara period, where Buddhist culture flourishes. Stay tuned!